Good evening, teacher and classmate. My name is Kevin. I am a member of Group 1, and today I focus on the one important theory for education and psychology, behaviorism. First of all, for understanding behaviorism, we need to talk. It's a foundation of psychology. Behaviorism is a psychological theory focusing on observable behavior. It asserts that all behavior is learned through conditioning and emphasizes the interaction between individuals and their environment. If we need to what the pioneers who create behavioral or behaviors. The pioneers of behavioral psychology are John B. Watson, Ivan Pavlov, and B. F. Skinner. John B. Watson, considered the father of modern behaviorists. Watson established the school of thought in 1913. He famously claimed he could train any child for any role, given the right environment. Ivan Pavlov is a Russian psychologist. Pavlov worked on classical conditioning with dogs, demonstrated how the association between a neutral stimulus and a natural response could lead to learning behaviors. And finally, B.F. Skinner. Skinner developed operant conditioning and radical behaviors, emphasized how consequences, reinforcement, and punishment shape voluntary behaviors. If we talk core tenets of behaviors, we start first of all in the point one. Behavior is ultimately learning through experience and environmental interaction, not innate factors. The study of internal mental processes like thought and emotions is reflects due to their inobservable nature. Behavior can be explained solidly through the relationship between external stimuli and organism response. The classical conditioning. The classical conditioning involves associating a neutral stimulus with one that naturally delicts and response, leading the neutral stimulus to eventually trigger the same response. Pavlov's dogs, the classical experiment where a built neutral stimulus was paired with food and conditioned stimulus, causing dogs to salivate unconditional response, eventually develop local salivation conditional response. Application. Explain how fears, phobias, aversions, and even emotional response can be learned through association. It also used in adversing, 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 advertising to create positive brand association. Opera conditioning. First of all, reinforcement increases the likelihood of behavior. Positive reforms at a desirable stimulus, while negative reinforcement removes and amplifies one. Secondly, punishment decreases the likelihood of behavior. This can involve adding an unpleasant stimulus or removing a desirable one. Skinner impact. B.F. Skinner demonstrated how active learning occurs through consequences from the environment, leading to voluntary behavior being shaped by their outcomes. The varieties of behaviors. We only talk about two options. Methodological behaviors and radical behaviors. In methodological behaviors, primarily associated with John B. Watson, this approach focuses exclusively on the study of observable behaviors. It views internal mental states as irrelevant or immeasurable for scientific study. It emphasizes the direct relationship between environmental stimuli and behavioral response without considering cognitive mediators. Finally, radical behaviorism, developed by B.F. Skinner. Radical behaviorists acknowledge the influences of internal events through feelings but view them as behaviors themselves, also subject to environmental conditioning and reinforcement. It extends the principle of operant conditioning to all forms of behavior, including those traditional concernment. One real world application. The application, we talk about education, behavioral therapy, and animal training. In education, utils is util in positive reinforcement to encourage decided behavior and academic achievement. Techniques include token economies and reward for participation. In behavior therapy, it's effective in treating phobias. Additionally, and autism focuses on modifying maladaptive behavior through systematic conditioning techniques. Animal training. Operant conditioning is fundamental to animal training, using rewards and punishment to shape complex behavior in pets, service, animals, and even in zoos. And final, eight takeaways. Takeaways. Behaviorists provide a scientific framework for understanding how observable behaviors are acquired and modified through environmental interaction. It remains a powerful influence in applied psychology, education, and therapy, while its initial radical stance or internal state has evolved. Its core principle complement other modern psychology theories, including cognitive and social learning, offering comprehensive view of human behavior. That's all. Thank you very much for paying your attention.